Hello.
Hi, Joan. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Good. Nice to see you.
Nice to be seen. Nice to see you.
Good. Hello, everyone. Take yourself off of mute if you want to just say hello before we get started. Mute is in the left corner down on the bottom.
Hello,
Hi,
hello.
That worked.
Hello. Yeah.
Hi, Joan. How are you?
Good. I am good. I'm excited. I'm going to Connecticut tomorrow to see my grandkids.
Nice.
Ooh. Yeah, we are driving. That part's not so exciting,
No.
but seeing them will be the best part of it.
I know. It's so hard. We don't get to see our kids when they don't live near us. It's terrible.
I know. We're growing in numbers. This is so nice. And Michael Wolf has a great picture of what was on The Voice.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Thanks for noticing. Thank you.
Michael, you changed. You're now looking like 5781.
Getting in that holiday spirit.
Yep. Well, that's what some of this will be about. Maybe a good portion.
Will reopen on August 20th after closing for COVID. Tickets that first day.
It's Nelson.
Ooh, who's got a palm tree? I only see eyes. I don't see a face.
Yeah, he's a regular at services.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he always has great things in the background. Right?
Better believe it.
Hi,
I think I need more wine.
Susie.
Like that.
Is that a command or is
Nice.
that?
We are up to already 17 participants. This is wonderful. I'm so thrilled.
Like that. And my favorite.
Did I do this too far? I'm gonna mute my.
Oh, hello, Rabbi.
Well, you throw a party and people come.
I'm telling you. The right kind of email gets to everyone.
Wow. Yeah, I put on my quarantine tuxedo, as you can see, for the occasion. Most dressed I've been in a while. Did you do your yoga? Did you do your yoga? The day got a little weird. I have been tying myself up in knots all day, but I'm not sure that's what.
What a comedian.
But I did do my hair.
Looks great. It looks great. Who's the stylist?
It's all my own.
What a comedian.
Well, I tell you, I loved having hair. People would be like, "Why'd you shave it all off?" I'm like, I didn't shave it all off. I had some help. I loved having hair. I don't mind having no hair. What I hated was some hair. That part was because I would like stand at an angle so no one would notice, or move my kippah over here. Like, okay, no one knows, you know. Okay, great. So I've covered what I need to talk about. You've got anything else? I'm open to suggestion. Well, actually, we've got a few minutes. Chat among yourselves.
Yes, we do. Well, hello, everyone. We're growing in numbers. This is wonderful. I'm so thrilled. I'm sure everyone is eagerly awaiting to hear all the wonderful information about all the great things that are happening.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear it myself, to be honest.
Hey, we practice. What do you mean?
That's true. That's very true. So I did add a couple things.
Works for me.
Okay, I will be
Oh,
back
somebody
in
has
one
a good
second. I'm
news
just making
station.
sure the Wi-Fi is working properly.
Finally tonight, 15 seconds. That's all it took for a hero to see, act, and save a life. Tonight, the video and the police officer. That's an Eric Strong. This is the moment Officer Eric.
Okay, great. So we can actually just do the high holidays right now. I think we'll have enough people.
A minion?
We had enough. That's fine. Let's do it.
Yeah, we have quite a few.
Nine,
Wow.
nine, 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 nine.
That was nice. Who was
Who
that?
did that?
I'm just sharing music, sorry.
Oh, okay. I'm like, wow, I'm going to that service.
There you go.
Michael's into music.
It's a high holiday mashup.
Avinu Malkeinu, Chanenu Vadenu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chanenu Vadenu. Yein Banu Maseh. Aseh Imanu, Tzedakah v'chesed. Aseh Imanu, Tzedakah v'chesed, v'hoshienu.
Enough.
Oh, no, please. That's,
So enjoyable.
you know, what's funny though about some of the music is that there is sometimes a disconnect between the words and the melody. So you'll have these nice perky words, like, da, 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 like we're sinners, we're awful, we're miserable human beings, and we'll slaughter little animals to make up for it. You know, it's kind of what's in the mock source. I'm glad we do it in Hebrew and we have the tunes. There's a little disconnect between that, but it's I think it's okay. So I have 7 o'clock. What do you have?
Correct.
7 o'clock? Okay, great. So we're going to begin. We're going to have everybody on mute for now, except for me. And I'll kind of explain what we're going to be doing. And toward the end, maybe take 1 or 2 questions, but just over chat. We're not opening this up. There are too many people. I have a chat, though, every Wednesday at noon. You're welcome to join in, and we just talk about whatever is going on. So if you'd like to jump in on that, again, every Wednesday at noon. I've got a class on Pirkei Avot every Friday at 11, so that'll be tomorrow too. So you're more than welcome, but if there are a couple, you know, just kind of like technical or process questions toward the end. One of the questions cannot be, how long am I going to talk? I don't know. I haven't heard it yet. But it shouldn't be too long. Oh, okay, there I am. So the real reason I'm having this meeting now is not everyone really sees me up close, and so this is just a way you can all get used to it before the holidays. So let me begin. I am just so grateful to all of you that so many of you have logged on tonight, but so many of you have been participating or being a part of the congregation in any way under all circumstances, but particularly under these really challenging times. I'm grateful to the wonderful people I work with, and very grateful to our dedicated lay leaders, led by our president, Joan Epstein. They did not put pandemic in the job description when Joan agreed to be president. And she walked into this and has just been incredibly supportive. But the entire congregation has just been wonderful. And I'm really just so grateful. This is my 13th year, my 13th set of high holidays. And every year you wonder what it's going to be like, and never more than today. I know you all get a lot of emails, you got a lot of messages from the shul, and you're going to be getting a lot more because there's a lot of things going on. But I thought it was really important to be able to share these ideas in person and to spend some time, not too long, but just letting you know what we're doing for the whole holiday season and why we're doing it. So I just want to share a few thoughts, and then I'll go into some of the more practical things that we're doing. I was thinking today that there are really only two dates on the Jewish calendar. The first date on the Jewish calendar is that it's almost Passover. Oh my God, it's only 6 months until Passover, 4 months. Oh, I can't believe they already have matzah. I can't believe they're already out of matzah. It's always almost Passover, but it's almost Rosh Hashanah. That's the other date on the Jewish calendar. It's always either almost Passover or it's almost Rosh Hashanah. And it's very important. And this is a time for every 6 months to kind of evaluate where we are in our lives, what matters, who matters to us. And I think when Passover came this year, we were all kind of in a little bit of shock. We really couldn't believe that we couldn't do what we normally did for the holidays, but it was all kind of coming quickly, and we mobilized and we did things. Then we had Shavuot, and if you could have cheesecake, you felt fine. Like we were able to do a little bit of learning. We were able to have Yizkor. But Rosh Hashanah seems to be creating a particular amount of anxiety, because not just every year brings a lot of anxiety around the high holidays, but I think at Passover, we thought that by now this was going to be over. And it's really hard for us to believe that we're still talking about Zooming and quarantine and all these other things during another major holiday season. And I know it's really hard. It's been hard for all of us. We all kind of hoped that we'd get through it and then it would be over after a short amount of time. And we just don't know. I mean, fortunately in Michigan, things have been better than a lot of places in the country, but it's scary. And a lot of us have family in other places as well. I don't know about you, but I miss being bored. I miss mundane things. I know you might say to yourself, haven't we been bored? No, acute anxiety coupled with a lack of activities to do is not boredom. It's something else, it's something deeper. And I think that the high holiday season actually can be a great help in dealing with a lot of this anxiety, this frustration, this fear that we're all facing, even if it's going to be in a really different kind of way, which I promise I will talk about. During the high holidays, we talk a lot about teshuvah, about repentance, but the word teshuvah really means to return. And what I keep hearing is, when are we going to return? When are things going to be back to normal? I think there'll be a new typical. I don't know if the world will ever go back to exactly the way it was, and that might be good, and they may not be good, depending on the circumstance. But what teshuvah really means is returning to your best self, returning to the best version of who you are. It's really about asking, who do you want to be this year? Who do you not want to be anymore? And what are the things that you need to accomplish that? That's really what the high holiday season is, that it's not sitting and saying, oh, these are all the things I did wrong and I feel really terrible about it. It's about evaluating your life and say, what was I doing that was helpful to me and to others? What was harmful to me and to others? And who do I really want to be? And I found that another anxiety that people have been talking about during the high holiday season is the book of life, because there's such a fear of loss of life. There's been a lot of loss of life during this terrible time, and people I find are very anxious about it. The book of life in Jewish tradition, and I've mentioned it before, but I think it's important to mention it again, is not a book of your fate. It's not God sealing whether you will actually live or die during the year, because that's too terrifying a way to live. What it is God noticing, what did you do with your life? Did you appreciate your life even when it wasn't going the way that you really wanted it to? Even when it was difficult, even it was painful, did you find a way to create meaning with your life? Judaism is not fatalistic. Our futures are not sealed in terms of what will happen to us. I think what God is looking for is that in a time of crisis, who are we? And by the way, I don't believe God sends the crisis. I think that being a human being is hard enough without God sending extra things. I think that God looks to see how do we handle the crisis, and that what are we doing to help each other. So let me talk about the services themselves for the high holidays, because I know that's what a lot of you want to hear about. But let me say something first, and it's going to sound kind of strange, but I think it's true. The services are not virtual. Virtual means something that isn't real. Our services are going to be real. They're just going to be in different spaces. I don't like the idea of that this is something that we're doing virtually. No, this is real. This is very real. It's happening in real time. We're doing important things. We just can't be in the spaces that we want to be in. So for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, the services are going to be completely live. We are not pre-recording different parts of the service to show during the service. It will all be live. What we might be doing is recording it in case there's a catastrophic Wi-Fi system failure where each of us is, so we'd at least be able to show something. But the plan is that the whole thing will be live. It's going to be a traditional service, but it's going to be a little shorter. Normally we start at 8 a.m. on Rosh Hashanah, and we end later. We're going to be starting at 9, and my guess is that it will be until about noon. What we talked about, and I think this is important, is that when the whole world is so different, the service should look kind of similar to what you're used to. I think you can experiment with some other things, but on the high holidays, I think it's important to find some comfort in generally what you're used to. Now, there isn't going to be a choir. We're not having the Torah processionals. There will be the sermon, and there will be all the traditional prayers. Chazan Gross will be in the sanctuary during the entire high holidays. He will be davening in the sanctuary. He will be the only person in the sanctuary. It might sound like we're trying to go overboard on safety. Good. Absolutely, you are absolutely correct. I will be in my office because there's Ethernet there. In the sanctuary, we're running an Ethernet line for Chazan Gross, and Michael Wolf will be managing the Zoom and the Torah readings and all those things as well. So we'll be in the building, but we'll be significantly distanced from each other. There will not be a separate minyan in the synagogue itself during the holidays. You might hear that some synagogues are having like 10 people in the sanctuary during the high holidays. And I will share my idea of why we're not doing that. is that my feeling is that I didn't want anyone to think that the minyan in the synagogue was the real minyan, and that you were watching what the real minyan was. I believe it's important for all of us to feel that we're all in this together, that what we're doing is real, that what we're doing matters, that it's not that there's a minyan and that there are observers, it's that there's really one minyan for everyone, that we're all in it together, and that there's really just one main service. And what we're also doing is making sure that there aren't overlapping things. So we're actually going to be having our family services later in the afternoon, which we'll talk about in a little while as well. But it is really important, I believe, that Chazan Gross be in the sanctuary. He'll be there for all of the high holidays. There is a tradition of the Kohen Gadol, the high priest, being in the Holy of Holies during the high holidays, and so Chazan Gross will be there. And what we'll be doing is we will be Zooming this instead of doing it as a webinar, because I think part of the fun of the high holidays for people is that we can see each other. We didn't want this just to be that you could only see us. We really thought it was important that you could actually see each other as well. You could wave. You're going to be muted because having all these people try to talk at once is not a good thing. But at least we'll be able to see each other. We'll be able to check in with each other. One of the things I do suggest that you do during the high holidays and on Shabbat and things like that is to create kind of a sacred space wherever you live. It might be a corner of your living room. It might be your kitchen. But just to have kind of a dedicated place to keep a Kiddush cup there, to keep candlesticks or a tzedakah box, just something that feels like this is a dedicated space. And so when you're on the services, you feel that there is a tangible connection there. We are going to be sending out, as part of the information, approximately which parts of the service occur when. So if you find 3 hours a little bit too long, you'll be able to just get a sense of which parts that you want to connect to. This is your time. This is your time to think about who you want to be, what you want to do. You don't have to say every word of the liturgy. You don't have to follow along every single thing. You can even mute me during the sermon. I mean, you can't keep me from giving it, but you can put mute on your own computer, and I won't know. You can just keep going, and I would never know. This is what you need to do to connect to your own sense of spirituality. And so, you know, part of the things to think about is what can we do to help you connect spiritually, to connect emotionally? Some of you might need some assistance financially. Things are getting very difficult. We can be helpful in a lot of ways, or we can connect you to people who can be helpful as well. High holidays are very stressful under the best of times, and they raise a lot of issues. For some people, it raises issues if you don't have family, and for some people, it raises issues if you do have family. People are complicated, things are challenging, and the high holidays is when a lot of these things really start coming out, and it's harder because we feel isolated. So if you need help, ask for help. I want to emphasize this is not a weakness, asking for help. I believe it's really a source of strength, and that's what a community is really supposed to be about, of how we can help each other. We don't always get it right, but we try very hard to connect people to others, but also connect people to their best sense of selves. There are a lot of things that are going on in the weeks before we have the high holidays, and again, you're going to be getting all the information again in emails. You should check Facebook. There's a lot of communication that's been going on where it's just the people I work with, the amount of work they've been doing to prepare for the holidays to me is just absolutely humbling and absolutely inspiring to me. That's one of the powers, I think, of Adat Shalom, of a synagogue, of there are just wonderful people, professionals and lay people, really trying to make things happen. So in the weeks before the high holidays themselves, we have a lot of programs on meditation. We have programs of singing, of yoga and meditation. We're going to have online classes. We're also going to send out videos as well for YouTube. And just try to find different ways of connecting and learning. The classes are continuing. If you look at our web page, there's a lot of things going on, and these things will be geared toward the high holidays as well. A week from tomorrow, we are hoping to have our first outdoor Kabbalat Shabbat. We're working on some of the details. It's going to have to be limited in terms of number of people, and there'll be registration. It'll still be Zoomed, but we're going to try and see if we can do something like that, at least in the parking lot area of Adat Shalom, so we could at least see each other a little bit. During Rosh Hashanah itself, we're going to be having the main service, but also we're going to be having a lot of family services as well in the afternoon. And those will be led by the clergy. That's why we're doing it in the afternoon. Normally during the main service, we can't get out and connect to the younger people, the younger families. But this will give us an opportunity to do that. What we're also hoping for second day is to do tashlich at the pond. We'll be doing tashlich all over the place. But at the pond of the synagogue, we'll also be having shofar blowing there. On the second day of Rosh Hashanah, we're doing the blessing of the babies. If anyone in your family had a baby within the last year, this will be an opportunity for a special blessing, and this will actually allow people who live out of town and who can't come in to be a part of this as well. What we're also doing is that in the 10 days between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, we will be scheduling opportunities for people to come into the sanctuary for a few moments, to be able to have a few quiet moments in front of the Ark. One of the most powerful moments of the end of Yom Kippur, of Ne'ilah, was the fact that the Ark was open and that people would be able to go spend some time in front of the Ark and offer prayers, and there would just be hundreds and hundreds of people, and it was very powerful. We can't do that, but we can find a way for you to come into the sanctuary on your own for a few minutes in front of the open Aron Kodesh, and to be able to offer your thoughts and prayers. On Yom Kippur itself, we have Yizkor, and we'll be sending out a notice of the approximate times when Yizkor will be, and we have an incredibly powerful and beautiful new Yizkor book that you'll be receiving, and it has a lot of prayers for at home, but also for the Yizkor service as well. And we will have all the lights on in the sanctuary for Yizkor, and we'll be able to show you that. Chazan Gross will be able to show you with his cell phone camera that all the lights are on. Also, we'll be able to see the Holocaust Torah as well, which I think is really powerful. When you come into the sanctuary, and if there is a Yortzeit plaque for a loved one, that would certainly be an appropriate place for you also to spend some time there. And if you want to turn those lights on yourself, you are more than welcome to do so if they hadn't already been turned on at that time. So you'll have a few minutes in the sanctuary. You can go in front of the Ark, or the Yortzeit plaques, or a combination of both. Chazan Gross and I will be leading a healing service in the afternoon of Yom Kippur. We'll have more family services and programs in the afternoon as well. And the family services will have one for kindergarten and younger, and another for families of 1st to 6th grade. And again, everyone is obviously welcome on the main services as well. There isn't going to be any overlap that you would have to switch screens. We'll be doing one thing at a time. And there will also, of course, be actually one of the highlights for me, Ask the Rabbi, where you get a chance to ask me any kind of question you want. And the fun part about that is my filters are completely gone by that point in the day. And I really enjoy that so much. And then we'll have Neela together. I mean, we'll have it at the same time. We'll bring in the end of Yom Kippur, singing together and praying together, and with lights and Havdalah and shofar blowing. And I would strongly suggest, if you have a shofar at home, that would be a great time to blow the shofar at Neela as well. But if you want to blow shofar during the service as well, again, we're keeping you on mute, and if you have one, you are certainly welcome to do so. You know, I think a lot about the high holiday season. One of the central metaphors is the idea of apples and honey. And apples and honey is the idea that there is sweetness in life, even in your most challenging times. You don't need to have apples and honey when everything's going great. Rosh Hashanah is an emotionally difficult time because it's about introspection. It's about thinking who is there with you, but maybe thinking about who isn't there with you this year anymore. Apples and honey are a reminder that it's always possible to have sweetness in our lives. And I know that the high holidays, we all want to be together in person. I mean, this is my 32nd time leading high holidays, and there's such a power for me. And I know there's a disappointment, but I know that Jews hundreds of years from now are going to look at us and are going to say, under the strangest, weirdest circumstances, they stayed together as a community. They said, Kol Yisrael Aravin Zelazeh, that the entire Jewish people is responsible for each other. But the word Aravin means more than responsible. It means they made life sweet for each other. And I would say now more than ever, we need community. We need connection. Adat Shalom was begun in the most difficult times for the Jewish people in 1943, when it was nothing but darkness, and our founders brought light. And we were so fortunate to have wonderful clergy and wonderful leaders over the years who brought us to this moment. Our descendants are going to look to us and they're going to say, you faced the challenges in the world, you found sweetness in the world, and you brought it to each other. I mean, just think today, Israel and its neighbors took a big step toward further peace in the region. Who would have thought when you woke up this morning that Israel and the United Arab Emirates would be writing love letters to each other? It's all possible if we stick together, if we believe, if we have hope. So let me just end with, I hope that the new year brings all of us sweetness and health and joy, and that sweetness, health, and joy goes to the whole world, and that as soon as this is over, we're all going to see each other and we're going to connect. But until then, we are still together. This isn't virtual. This is real. And I am so grateful for you to be here. I had promised that we would be done by 7:30, but if there's one or two like technical questions you want to put in chat, I would be happy to look at them. Again, a length of sermon is not on the table, but it'll probably be shorter. Now, I don't want to overpromise, but I've been working on it. And if I answered all your questions, which it looks like. Okay, so by the way, please feel free to email me, abergman@adatshalom.org. I put a lot of stuff on Facebook as well. I have a blog. There are a lot of people who are just doing wonderful things, and we're putting a lot of thought into it, and I am so grateful. And you know, again, I can't wait to see you, even if seeing each other is challenging. One of the questions here, a technical one, is unmuting the congregants is to hear each other. is the problem is that everyone's computer latency is different. So one person will start a word, another person will start a word a few seconds later, and it just turns into a real challenge. We will be sending out all the information. There's a lot of things. I just didn't want to turn this into too much of just listing things, but there's a lot going on. You're going to be getting a lot more information. If Zoom ever figures out a way to solve the latency issue, we might be able to sing together a little bit, but if you have a few hundred people trying to sing at the same time, it's going to sound like me singing, and nobody wants that. Also, I see Chazan Gross, feel free to email him about anything as well. Michael Wolf, it's just been awesome. The people I got to work with, whether it's the staff or in education, clergy, the office staff, everyone, it's amazing. And I tell you what, I've seen our lay people, 50 people at a Zoom meeting in the middle of the summer, making sure that everything's coming along. It is humbling. Adat Shalom is a beautiful place. We have truly earned the name of a place that witnesses to the possibility of peace in the world. So Shana Tova, Ticha Tova. I hope everyone has a sweet and happy New Year. And again, tomorrow morning, if you want to jump on, 11 a.m., Pure Avot, and Kabbalat Shabbat tomorrow night at 6 p.m. And just have a wonderful evening. Thank you again.